The Seminoles take on one of their most difficult tests of the season, the Clemson Tigers. Welcome to your Nole Insiders game preview, delivered by UPS. I'm Lane Hurt, along with Tim Lenefelt. Tim, what a difference a week makes. The Seminoles were struggling. A lot of people are accusing them of lack of effort against Boston College. Well, great effort from the Seminoles against Syracuse. Derwin James gets his fingertips on a last-second field goal by Syracuse. Noles win 27-24. People looking a little different around the football program this week.
Yeah, it's a great time for a big win. You can see after the game just how much it meant to the players. When you haven't felt that feeling in a while, haven't felt that feeling at home in a while, it really is something that you don't want to take for granted. And, talking to some of the guys after the game, they all said, look, this is sort of a line in the sand moment for type of thing for us. You want to draw that line and say we're not going back across anymore. It's something to build on, something to move forward, and, of course, a great opportunity to move forward this week at Clemson.
Yeah, like you said, that's the good news, the victory. The bad news, really tough opponent this week. Toughest on the schedule probably since Alabama to open the season. The Clemson Tigers, ranked number 4 in the college football playoff poll. They're 8-1 on the season, 6-1 in conference. Ranked 34th in the country in total offense, 443 points or yards per game. Total defense, they're 13th, 305 yards per game given up. They are second in the country in sacks per game. They have 33 total, including 11 against Auburn earlier in the season. You got to start there with this Clemson team because defensively they can get after you.
No, absolutely. They're really good. And this is the game that when the schedule was released in February, regardless of how the rest of the season was going to go, everybody knew this was going to be a big test for Florida State. Like you said, with Clemson and Alabama, those are sort of the two that you had circled. Going up to Death Valley is tough. They were really good. They're defending national champion. They recruit really well, like you said, on defense. They're good at all three levels, and it starts with that defensive front. They have 33 sacks, second most in the country. They can get pressure with their front four. They can get pressure with blitzes. Florida State's offensive front is going to have a busy afternoon because those guys, like you said, can really get after it.
The Seminoles were led last week by Cam Akers, nearly 200 yards rushing, $199, I think is what it ended up officially.
It was over 200 for a couple plays.
For a couple plays, it was. I mean, you look at Clemson's defense, their ends, Cleveland Farrell and Austin Bryant, both have 6.5 sacks. Is the running game going to be the way that Florida State stays in this game and gets things going on offense?
I think so, but I really think that's the best recipe for success for Florida State in general. When you look at when the offense has been at its best, it's been when that running game has been really clicking, whether it's been Jacquez Patrick picking up the tough short yards, Cam Akers breaking a tackle and getting downfield for a long run like he did against Syracuse. I think that a run-first offense that is complemented by the passing game has suited Florida State well in the past. I think he can do the same thing against Clemson this week. Maybe try to neutralize that pass rush a little bit, maybe even run some delayed handoffs, draws, kind of thing. If Clemson's feeling aggressive, if they're feeling energetic early on in the game, especially being a home game, maybe you can try to use that against them a little bit.
Then when you flip the sides of the ball, Clemson, one of the most balanced offenses in the nation. They average 220 yards rushing and 222 yards passing a game.
That's about as good as it gets there.
Kelly Bryant's filled in for Deshaun Watson, who's looked fantastic this year, leads the team in passing and rushing, and then speed all over the field. Tavian Feaster, Ray McLeod, Travis Etienne. I mean, there's speed everywhere. How do you go about slowing down this balanced Tiger attack?
I think the big thing is it starts with Kelly Bryant, like you said, leading passer and leading rusher. If that sounds familiar, it's because you saw the same thing against Syracuse last week. And in a way, Clemson won't run as quick as Syracuse, but I wonder if it's at least a bit of a preview. Last week's game was a little bit of a preview of what Florida State can expect this week in terms of a quarterback that can make the throws when he needs to, but if the reads aren't there, he's not afraid to tuck it and run it. You got to keep him in front of you, try to limit that rushing damage as much as you can, and sort of if you can do that, I don't think you're worried as much about those receivers and running backs. It all starts with the quarterback, Kelly Bryant.
Let's go to our key matchup, and there is one area in which the Seminoles have a clear advantage, and that's in the field goal kicking game. The Tigers on their second kicker this year, Alex Spence. He's 4 of 9 on the season. His long is 30 yards. Ricky has been fantastic all year. Put home a nearly 50-yarder last week. The Seminoles have to find a way to hold the Tigers to field goal attempts. If it comes down to it, Noles do have an edge there.
Absolutely, and you want to try to find a foothold in these types of games. And Florida State fans know as well as anybody how special teams can swing an otherwise close game. Since that Alabama game, Ricky has been fantastic. I think he's only missed one kick in the games that have followed. A clear advantage there for Florida State. And yeah, like you said, what you want to do is get to a point where it comes down to that, and if you have that advantage, And it sounds like Florida State does. Those are the kind of things that you can hang your hat on, and build out from there.
There you have it, Seminole fans. It's the Noles and the Tigers up in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. 3:30 kickoff. And, of course, we'll have everything you need for that game. Make sure you read Tim's First and 10 article to get you ready for this one as well. So for Tim, I'm Lane. This has been your Nole Insider Game Preview delivered by UPS. Go Noles.